What if your dog could detect one of the world's deadliest diseases before any medical test ever could? It sounds like something out of science fiction, but it's not. Around the world, dogs are being trained to sniff out cancer, and in controlled studies, some of them are surprisingly good at it. So, can dogs really smell cancer? The answer is more complicated than a simple yes or no. And honestly, it's more fascinating than most people realize, because what scientists have discovered may completely change the way you think about your dog's nose. Let's start with why a dog's sense of smell is so extraordinary in the first place. Humans navigate the world mostly through sight. Dogs navigate it through scent. Where we have around 6 million olfactory receptors in our noses, dogs have hundreds of millions. Some breeds, like bloodhounds, have well over 200 million. That's not just a bigger number. It's a completely different way of experiencing reality. A dog walking through a park isn't just seeing grass and trees, it's reading a layered map of scents. Some left minutes ago, some left days ago. Dogs also have a specialized organ humans don't really use, called the vomeronasal organ. It helps them detect chemical signals that are practically invisible to us. So when we say a dog's nose is powerful, we're actually underselling it. But here's where it gets even more interesting. That same nose might be able to pick up on something happening deep inside the human body. To understand how, we need to talk about what cancer actually does on a cellular level. Cancer isn't just abnormal cell growth. As cancer cells multiply, they change the body's chemistry. Metabolism shifts. Cells produce different byproducts than healthy cells do. And some of those byproducts are volatile, meaning they evaporate easily and release tiny chemical signatures into the air, into breath, even into sweat and urine. These chemical signatures are called volatile organic compounds, or VOCs for short. Think of them as an invisible chemical fingerprint that certain diseases may leave behind. Humans can't smell these changes, but a dog's nose, tuned by millions of years of evolution, might be sensitive enough to notice them. That idea is what launched an entire field of research into canine cancer detection. So how do scientists actually test this? It's not as simple as bringing a dog into a hospital and letting it sniff patients. In most studies, dogs are trained using breath samples, urine samples, or tissue samples collected from patients. Some samples come from people with confirmed cancer. Others come from healthy individuals. The dog's job is to identify which sample is which, usually by sitting or freezing near the cancer-positive sample. Researchers carefully control the environment to rule out any accidental cues. No visual hints, no handler bias, no shortcuts, just scent. And what they found surprised even skeptical scientists. In multiple peer-reviewed studies, trained dogs identified cancer-positive samples significantly more often than random chance would predict. In some experiments involving lung cancer and breast cancer, detection accuracy has reached impressively high levels under strict laboratory conditions. Now, before this starts to sound like a miracle cure, let's slow down. Because accuracy varies a lot depending on several factors. The type of cancer, how the samples were collected, how the dogs were trained, even the design of the study itself. Some cancers seem to produce more detectable VOCs than others. Lung cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and prostate cancer have all shown promising results in various trials. Colorectal cancer has also produced encouraging findings using stool or breath samples. But promising doesn't mean proven at a clinical level. Different research teams sometimes get different results. And that's completely normal in early-stage science. It simply means we need more studies, larger sample sizes, and more standardized methods before this becomes anything close to a medical tool. Now, here's a question you might be asking yourself right now. Could your own pet dog smell cancer in you? Imagine your dog suddenly becomes unusually interested in one specific area of your body, sniffing, pawing, or lingering there again and again. It's a strange feeling, and understandably, it can be alarming. But here's the important part. An untrained pet dog reacting to something is not medical evidence. Dogs are curious animals. They react to sweat, skin changes, lotions, hormones, and countless everyday scents that have nothing to do with disease. There have been anecdotal stories over the years of pet dogs supposedly alerting owners to cancer before diagnosis. Those stories are compelling. But anecdotes are not scientific proof. They're single, unverified events, not controlled evidence. So if your dog seems fixated on something unusual about your body, the right move isn't to panic or diagnose yourself at home. It's to get it checked by an actual medical professional. Which brings us to a critical point in this whole story. Dogs are not approved diagnostic tools for cancer. Not now, and not in the foreseeable future. Even the best performing detection dogs in research settings are not consistent enough, scalable enough, or standardized enough to replace medical screening like mammograms, biopsies, colonoscopies, or blood tests. A dog can't write a lab report. It can't be cross-examined the way a diagnostic machine can, and its performance can vary from one day to the next, depending on training, fatigue, or environment. So the goal of this research was never to put dogs in hospital waiting rooms. It's something bigger than that. Scientists are using what dogs can detect to inspire the next generation of diagnostic technology. If a biological nose can pick up disease-related VOCs, then maybe a machine can too. Researchers are now developing electronic sensors, sometimes called electronic noses, designed to mimic canine scent detection. These devices analyze the same volatile organic compounds that trained dogs respond to, but using chemical sensors instead of biology. The long-term goal is a fast, affordable, non-invasive screening tool that could one day complement existing cancer diagnostics. In other words, dogs didn't just surprise researchers, they pointed science in a completely new direction. So let's bring it all together. Your dog's nose is one of the most extraordinary biological sensors in the animal kingdom. Under controlled scientific conditions, trained dogs have shown a genuine ability to detect certain cancer-related scent signatures, and that discovery has opened up an entirely new area of medical research. But a dog sniffing you at home is not a diagnosis, and no dog, no matter how well trained, should ever replace a doctor, a screening test, or professional medical care. While dogs cannot replace doctors, the science behind their incredible sense of smell is already helping researchers imagine new ways to detect disease earlier than ever before. So here's a question for you. Would you trust a dog to help detect disease? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this Vet Explains episode, subscribe to the Animal Ledger for more science-backed veterinary insights, fascinating animal facts, and wildlife discoveries. This video is for educational purposes only and should not be considered medical or veterinary advice.